At the time of this recording, it's been almost 6 entire years since the Nintendo Switch was released, and with the release of this revolutionary console was a revolutionary Mario game. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. All jokes aside, the game that I'm actually talking about would of course be Super Mario Odyssey. Released on October 27, 2017, this game would serve as a new 3-dimensional adventure for Mario to embark on, spanning from the 16 diverse kingdoms you are able to visit, alongside a multitude of movement techniques you are able to perform with not only Mario himself, but with the new addition of Cappy. The concepts introduced within Odyssey were truly trailblazing, and with the great potential of these concepts raised a big question. Will there be a Super Mario Odyssey 2? Now, like all theories and questions, there is a divide on what the potential outcome would be. Today I want to look at the reasons for why Odyssey 2 could happen and what it could potentially include, as well as the reasons for why it might not happen and what an entirely different 3D Mario game could entail, eventually coming to the conclusion on what I think the potential outcome will be. Now, if Nintendo were to not make Odyssey 2, that would most likely mean that they are in the process of making an entirely new 3D Mario game. I know people really want Super Mario Galaxy 3 or Super Mario Sunshine 2, and as cool as it would be, the chances of that are just extremely low given how old the games are. However, what's even cooler is the potential for a new 3D Mario game, as that same potential to try out new ideas is what made Odyssey such an impactful game. One idea for this potential game that plenty of people have speculated about is a game that is in a similar format to Bowser's Fury. Now, if you haven't played Bowser's Fury, you are put on this big island and you progress through the game by collecting these shines, which in turn you are able to unlock more of the island and play more of the levels within the map. This format is very different to games such as Odyssey because instead of traveling to each level through the Odyssey, or in the case of Galaxy 2 where you use Starship Mario to enter each level, Bowser's Fury is set up so that every single level is in the same location, just scattered throughout the map. How I personally imagine this game is that we would have this world that is scattered with stars or moons or cats. I mean, hell, I don't know what Mario would be collecting, but it will be something. Now, we all know every Mario game typically has its classic biomes, whether it be sand, snow, forest, volcano, underwater, and all that other good stuff. This game would include some of those that over time you can unlock alongside some outliers. Maybe we'll get a level that captures the essence of Ruined Kingdom, or maybe instead of a vast city for Mario to explore, he gets put on a fucking farm. I mean, the ideas here are endless. Now, of course, like any other Mario game, unlocking new levels or areas would require you to get a certain amount of collectibles, but I think the inclusion of more boss fights would be an awesome addition. Maybe give Mario some new combat moves or power-ups to create for more complex boss fights instead of, you know, just jumping on their head 3 times. Now, I'm not sure how they could top the moveset in Odyssey. I mean, Mario just has about every move that he could have without a gimmick like Flood, but I'm sure Mario will be back at it again with a new gimmick as well as new moves or new power-ups. Overall, we would have one big open world to explore, and if done right, this new game could revolutionize the 3D Mario series all over again. Now, if Odyssey 2 were to happen, what would it include and when would it be released? Would it even be released on a Nintendo Switch, or will it be on Nintendo's next big console? Well, when it comes to what Odyssey 2 would include, I think it would be similarly formatted to Odyssey, where you collect moons, put them into the Odyssey, and use the Odyssey to advance to the next kingdom. Also, for the purpose of my theories about Odyssey 2, I'm going to go off the assumption that the moveset will be the same as the first installment. In Odyssey 2, the kingdoms would be more diverse in a multitude of ways, and there would probably be more total kingdoms in the second game, as we saw the same thing with the Galaxy series. In terms of the kingdoms themselves, they would have to be more ambitious than ever before, or at least that's what I'm hoping for, because in my opinion, it would be super lame if the kingdoms in Odyssey 2 were just slight changes to concepts that already exist. I personally thought of some ideas for kingdoms in Odyssey 2, and honestly, I'd be very curious as to what your ideas for this are as well, so if you got any banger ideas, I mean, drop them down below in the comments. The first idea that I thought of was some sort of gravity change changing kingdom, similar to the gravity that is in Super Mario Galaxy. Maybe you encounter a spaceship as you're on the Odyssey, and it's actually Bowser's spaceship, because he realized that airships haven't done him that much good. So you go into this spaceship, and inside of it there are multiple layers, and each layer has a different gravity setting, alongside many puzzles and enemies to capture. I mean, what if you could just capture the fucking spaceship and ram it into Bowser's hideout? Or what if we got a kingdom that was a big haunted house, or better yet, Luigi's Mansion? I mean, just think about how many cool Easter eggs and tidbits they could include if they put Luigi's Mansion in the game. Mario would be able to capture the ghosts and have a similar ability to the ghost power-up in Mario Galaxy. Maybe Mario could be the one sucking up the ghosts with whatever poltergeist he could find, or use the statues throughout the mansion to uncover new secrets and hide from ghosts. If they could do Mushroom Kingdom, I'm sure they could do Luigi's Mansion, or even something else like Delfino Plaza from Super Mario Sunshine. I mean, fuck it, capture the spaceship and the mansion at the same time, while hitting that subscribe and like. Now, for the longest time, I personally thought that Odyssey 2 was not going to be a reality, and that it was just going to be a standalone game like Mario 64 and Sunshine. I mean, sure, the concepts introduced in Odyssey definitely make for more than enough content for a second game. I mean, just look at all of the custom mods that have been made and showcased by Odyssey enjoyers. I was under the impression that they would just do an entirely different 3D Mario game and leave behind the ideas of captures, the Odyssey, and everything in between. Even after the Breath of the Wild sequel was announced to come out in 2023, I was still under the impression that Odyssey 2 was not going to happen. However, in the process of making this video, I would definitely say that my perspective has shifted, so it's time I reveal when you have been all waiting for, what I think the future entails. So without further ado, can I get a drum roll? That's right, I am pro SMO2. Almost. Considering the abundant amount of ideas in Odyssey, as well as the fact that the game itself, at least in my eyes, has already cemented itself as a legendary game, I think that Nintendo has the golden ticket to make another game using its mechanics and concepts. However, that doesn't mean it has to be a direct sequel or titled Super Mario Odyssey 2, which is why I say I am almost pro SMO2. I have a feeling that they're going to use a lot of the mechanics and assets like I previously stated, but it will still be an entirely new game and marketed as its own entry rather than a direct sequel to Odyssey. I don't know what the game will be called. Now I don't even know if anything I said in this video will have any merit, but after listening to both sides, I am under the impression that an indirect sequel is on the way, but only time can tell, because even if it may be a myth right now, it could be a reality in the future. Thank you for watching this episode of Anto Theory.